Noosa. I just checked in at the hostel here in Noosa. It's called Noosa Flashpackers. And I am in a 4-people dorm. But yeah, so far there's 2 of us in here, but we'll see. I'm sure it's gonna be full a little bit later. And then we do have a little locker, and out here we have an ensuite and a shower and a toilet. Yeah, now it's time to explore the hostel. I'm here for the next 5 days. I'm sure it's gonna be great. Hostels have communal kitchens, and you just put your food in a bag and label it, and that way you can cook your own meal and save some money. Today I'm doing a tour to the Everglades. It is 7:45 and I'm being picked up right in front of the hostel. So yeah, unfortunately it is raining, so it's not the best weather for it, but hopefully it will clear up later. But yeah, I thought I was gonna see crocodiles, but it's not that kind of Everglades. But yeah, we'll see what it is.
Welcome to Everglades Eco Safaris and Habitat Noosa. And today we'll be exploring the Noosa River Everglades, one of only 2 Everglade ecosystems in the whole world.
We went all the way to the tipping point where we're gonna have a muffin and maybe a swim, and then we're gonna canoe the way back. So even up here in the Everglades, where we are surrounded by water, you can see that the bushfires back in 18 really took a toll on all the trees. I'm gonna do it. Oh, yeah, it's not cold. Wait. Did he say why it's so brown-ish?
Tea tree oil.
Oh. Well, I guess it's good for you.
Good for skin.
Yes. Bug spray has become my best friend in Australia, especially the further up north you go. We are the last one up the boat. Scott Marie's doing all the work in the front. Giddy up. Now the difference between the Everglades and a normal lake is that a lake can dry out, and in Everglades the water's coming from underneath the ground and kind of bubbles up, so the Everglades will never dry out. Little tip. After kayaking for about an hour and a half, we had some lunch before we headed back to Noosa. The entire tour took about 6 hours and cost 139 Australian dollars. It is a gorgeous day here in Noosa, and I am almost at the beach. I don't know if you can hear the waves in the background, but it's right down there. And one of the main attractions here in Noosa is the ferry pools and the national park. So because the weather is gorgeous, I thought I was gonna take a hike today and see the gorgeous beach, the ferry pools, maybe the Laguna Lookout if I can find it. Yeah, so I put on a lot of sunscreen, factor 50, because yeah, I'm gonna be out in the sun all day. It's gonna be very nice. Yeah, it is awesome. I'm just so happy. My plan is to walk all the way over here, which is almost 11 kilometers in 4 hours. Let's hit it. I don't know if flip-flops or dongs, as they call it here in Australia, was the best idea, but I thought I was gonna be walking a lot on the beach and it would just be so much easier instead of sneakers. But probably gonna have some sore feet tonight, but oh well. Oh. Going to be quite a hike. Wow. And I thought it was gonna be like a stroll down the beach for the entire time. Nope. It is 11:20, so midday, which is probably the worst time to do the hike because of the heat. But I did talk to the girl at the hostel, and the ferry pools, that is one of my destinations on this hike, is better when there's a low tide. And apparently the high tide was in the morning, and the low tide should culminate around noon, which is what I'm going for. So I'm just gonna have to sweat, drink water, and pray that I make it out alive. So I guess I am gonna go all the way around that one. Just having a little break, put on some more sunscreen, got some water, and I got some apples for a snack. Yeah, it's not a bad place to sit and have a break. The ferry pools were kind of hard to find, but luckily there were already people down there. It was a little bit of a challenge to get down there because of all the rocks, and the rocks were scorching hot, so didn't make it a whole lot easier with flip-flops. But that was a nice and refreshing dip, and I got some more energy to carry on. The crickets are insane. And I made it all the way to over here in just 2.5 hours. And that's including the little swim I did at the ferry pools. And I think now it's time to go down to the beach for a dip. Best day ever. I am on my way to Fraser Island. Fraser Island is the biggest sand island in the world. I did a one-day tour with Adventure Tours that cost 240 Australian dollars. The tour lasted about 12.5 hours, but we did spend almost 10 hours in the bus, so it was a long day. However, we did see the rainforest on the island. We had some lunch and a show. And we went to see a shipwreck from 1935 that has now been buried into the sand. And luckily we saw the famous or infamous dingoes. We went to Lake McKinsey where the water is crystal clear and the sand is really white, so that was a nice break. And it was a very bumpy ride at times. It is my last night here in Noosa, and I thought I would end this leg of the trip with a hike up to the Laguna Lookout and hopefully get an amazing view of the sunset. Noosa has been incredible. The nature, the beaches, the vibe, everything about this town or this area is gorgeous. Love, love, love Noosa.